Good morning, friends. Friends, in the previous class, we had completed union executive. That is, we have completed the president, the vice president, the prime minister, and his council of ministers. Right? So this is what we have discussed in the previous class. In today's class, let me start union legislature. Let me start union legislature. That is parliament. That is parliament. Alright? So here in today's session, we will try to understand right, the entire business of parliament. That is, we will try to look into the functions of parliament, right? The two houses of parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the composition, right? How the members are elected, and most importantly, the legislative business of parliament. That is passing of different types of bills, including budget, money bills, and finance bills. Right? So we will try to cover all these issues. Alright? So if you take Indian Parliament, the rules of Indian Parliament can be traced back to 1853 Act. The rules of Indian Parliament can be traced back to 1853 Act, where for the first time a central legislative council was created. So if you recollect the 1853 Act, for the first time it was in 1853, a legislative council was created. Then in 1919, that is according to 1919 Act, a bicameral legislature was introduced. That is the concept of bicameralism. It was started in 1990. So right from 1990 onwards, we see existence of bicameral legislature. So even today, that is even after commencement of constitution, right, the framers of constitution has provided a bicameral legislature. That is, we have both Rajya Sabha as well as Lok Sabha. Right? So Rajya Sabha is called as Council of States. It is called as Council of States, whereas Lok Sabha, okay, Lok Sabha is regarded as House of People. Alright? It is regarded as House of People. So one is called as Council of States and Lok Sabha is called as House of People. Right? So that is, we have a bicameral legislature. And remember, bicameral legislature is a feature of federation. Right? Bicameral legislature it is a feature of federal system. Right? It is a feature of federal system. Okay. Alright. So now let us go into the aspects of functions of parliament. So let me first talk about functions of parliament. Alright. So now I want you to give the answers. Start giving answers. So what are different functions performed by parliament? What are different functions performed by parliament? So if you take parliament, what are different functions performed by parliament? What is the main duty of parliament? What is the main duty of parliament? Alright? So if you take the functions of parliament, what is the purpose of legislatures? It is making of laws. Good. It is making of laws. Right? So It is involved in law making process. Alright, it ensures the accountability and answerability of accountability of executive. Then it ensures this accountability and answerability is ensured by way of controlling the executive, right? Controlling of executive, alright? So there are two ways of control. That is, one is the general control exercised by Parliament. One is general control, and the other one is financial control exercised by Parliament. Alright? Then it is the Parliament. It is the Parliament that has the power to bring changes to Constitution. We have seen this in Article 368. So Parliament is the sole institution. Parliament is the only institution that is given the power to make changes to Constitution. That is, Parliament enjoys what we call constituent powers. Parliament enjoys constituent powers. That is, power to bring changes. Power to bring changes or amendments. Changes or amendments to Constitution. Alright? Power to bring all necessary changes. Power to bring all necessary changes to the Constitution. It enjoys constituent powers. Alright? Then, alright? It is the Parliament. It is the legislature that has the power to remove the executive. Right? All constitutional bodies are removed only after passing a law in the Parliament. To take any constitutional body, right, except Finance Commission or UPSC. So Finance Commission and UPSC are exempted. To take CAG, to take Election Commission, to take Judiciary, President, Vice President, Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers. So all they are removed by passing a law in the Parliament. So without passing a law in the Parliament, they are not removed. So Parliament kuna power into the removal power. Right? So executive appoints, right? President of India appoints, but removed by Parliament. That is, Parliament has a role in removal. Right? So Parliament is involved in removal of executive. Is involved in removal of executive. So we call this as normally it is termed as impeachment. It is actually called as impeachment. But that right, if you take the impeachment in India, it is different from American system. Right? So though we have adopted the impeachment procedure, the impeachment procedure of India is different from what we call America. Right? So in a stricter sense, నిజం చెప్పాలంటే మనం ఇంపీచ్మెంట్ అనకూడదు. ఎందుకంటే ఇండియాలో ఉన్న ప్రాసెస్ వేరు, అమెరికాలో ఉన్న ప్రాసెస్ వేరు. రైట్? సో వాస్తవానికి ఇంపీచ్మెంట్ అనే పదం మనం వాడకుండా ఉండడమే మంచిది. రైట్? సో పార్లమెంట్ ఇస్ ఇన్వాల్వ్డ్ ఇన్ what we call removal of constitutional authorities. It is involved in removal of constitutional bodies. Alright? So this is one function. Alright? So it is the Parliament. It is a Parliament that provides all the required funds to the government. It is a Parliament that provides all the required monetary resources for the executive to function. That is, alright, providing of finances. So how finances are given to the government? How Parliament provides finances to the government? How Parliament provides? Whether my voice is clear now? Whether my voice is clear to you? Right? So, if you take this parliament, so parliament provides all the required finances. It provides all the required finances to the government. Right? So, how these finances are given to the government? How parliament provides finances to the government? It is by way of budget. Right? So what is the purpose of budget? So budget is approved by parliament, right? So without parliament approving the budget, it is not possible. It is not possible for the government to function, right? So without budget, can the government function? Budget lekunda, budget pass kakunda, government function cheyagalada. The government can function without budget. So definitely it is not possible for the government to function without a budget. So budget is essential thing. Budget is essential element. Right? Now who should provide budget? It is parliament. Budget pass jackson parliament. So parliament passes the budget. So without passing the budget, the government cannot function, or without passing the budget, the government cannot undertake its functions. Right? So it is the parliament that provides budget to the government. Alright. So these are different functions. These are different functions of parliament. So you have seen almost I have written 6 functions here. I have written almost all 6 functions. Out of these 6 functions, what is the most important function? Out of these functions, what is the most important function? So it is your choice. Now you can choose. So out of all these functions, what is the most important function? వీటన్నిటిలో అతి ముఖ్యమైన ఫంక్షన్ ఏంటిది? మీరు చెప్పండి. ఐఎమ్ వెయిటింగ్ ఫర్ యువర్ ఆన్సర్స్. So out of these functions, what is the most important function? So one side making of laws, right? One side amending of constitution, right? So each of you are giving a different answers. So let me see how many of you give the answers. Making of laws, amending powers. I think there is no problem of resound. So out of all the functions, the most important function of parliament, is to control the executive. Right? It is controlling of executive. It is controlling of executive, or it is ensuring accountability and answerability of the government. The most important function of government. The most important function of parliament is to ensure control of the government, right? Ensuring accountability and answerability, because collective responsibility is regarded as the bedrock principle of parliamentary system of government. Remember, it is the principle of collective responsibility. It is the principle of collective responsibility which is regarded as the bedrock principle of parliamentary system of government. Right? So ensuring this collective responsibility is the important function of parliament, and this collective responsibility is ensured by using different mechanisms, or we have different instruments. for having this, you have different instruments. You have different instruments, right, to ensure this control, right? So we have our general instruments and we have the general controls as well as financial controls. So remember, it is what you call controlling the government, ensuring accountability and answerability of the government. So this is the most important function of Parliament. This is the most important function of Parliament. Okay. Am I clear to you? Am I clear on this function? Okay then. So let me move towards composition of Parliament. Alright. So if you take Parliament, as I said, it has both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Parliament has both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Right? So let me first talk about Lok Sabha. The composition of Lok Sabha, the presiding officers of Lok Sabha, then I will move to Rajya Sabha. Alright? So if you take this Lok Sabha, Lok Sabha consists of members. Lok Sabha consists of members who are elected directly by people. Alright? So the members of Lok Sabha are directly elected. So today we are seeing what we call general elections in India. In India we are seeing general elections. So what is done in these general elections? It is the members of Lok Sabha. It is the members of Lok Sabha who are elected directly. Right? So the members of Lok Sabha are elected on the principle of universal adult franchise. It is on the principle of universal adult franchise. So this is the principle that is used for electing the members of Lok Sabha. Right? The members of Lok Sabha are elected directly by people. Right? On this principle of universal adult franchise. So whether this word of universal adult franchise is mentioned in Indian Constitution, whether this word of universal adult franchise is mentioned in Constitution, say yes or no. నిజంగానే మనకి ఈ పదం కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్లో ఉన్నదా లేదా? యూనివర్సల్ అడల్ట్ ఫ్రాంచైజ్ అనేది మన కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్లో మెన్షన్ చేసిందా లేదా? ఐ వాంట్ యూ టు గివ్ ది ఆన్సర్స్. Rajesh, whether my voice is clear now for you? Right? So, coming to this issue, whether this word universal adult franchise is mentioned in the constitution or not, అది మెన్షన్ చేస్తుందా లేదా? ఆ పదం అన్నది కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్ మెన్షన్ చేస్తుందా లేదా? ఐ వాంట్ యువర్ రెస్పాన్స్. I want your answers. So it is mentioned in the Constitution. It is clearly mentioned in the Constitution. So we have both Article 324 as well as Article 325, right? So it is in Article 325. It is in Article 325 where this word of universal adult franchise is clearly mentioned in Constitution. That is the right to vote. Right to vote. It is mentioned in Article 325 of the Constitution. It is clearly mentioned, right? It is clearly mentioned in Indian Constitution. Alright? So the members of Lok Sabha are elected directly on the principle of universal adult franchise and on the principle of first past the post system. Right? It is on the principle of first past first past the post, system, and these elections are conducted by on the basis of territorial constituencies, right? It is on the principle of territorial constituencies. These elections, the elections are conducted, the members are elected on the basis of territorial constituencies. That is, for the purpose of election, right? To the Lok Sabha, the entire nation is divided into constituencies, territorial constituencies, and these members are elected on the basis of this territorial constituencies. Right? It means each member of Lok Sabha, they represent a territorial constituencies, right? And the winner of elections, is determined by the principle of first past the post. That means the one who secures majority of the votes, majority of the total valid votes, right? It is such candidate who is declared as winning candidate. అర్థమవుతుందా? అంటే ఎవరికైతే రైట్ ఉన్న క్యాండిడేట్స్లో ఎవరికైతే మెజారిటీ ఓట్స్ వస్తాయో వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే విన్నింగ్ క్యాండిడేట్గా డిక్లేర్ చేయబడతారు, రైట్? సో ద వన్ హూ సెక్యూర్స్ మెజారిటీ ఆఫ్ ద ఓట్స్ will be declared as what you call, will be declared as the winning candidate. They are regarded as winning candidates, right? So it is not about the number of votes polled, it is not about the specific number that is required. పలానా ఓట్స్ రావాలన్న రూల్ ఏం లేదు. ఎవరికైతే ఉన్న వాళ్ళల్లో ఎక్కువ ఓట్స్ వస్తాయో, ఎవరైతే ఉన్న వాళ్ళలో ముందుంటారో వాళ్ళు మాత్రమే విన్నింగ్ క్యాండిడేట్. అదే మీనింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఫస్ట్ పాస్ట్ ద పోస్ట్ సిస్టమ్. ఉన్న వాళ్ళలో ముందు ఉండడం, రైట్? సో ముందుండడం అంటే అర్థం పెట్టింది, ఎవరికైతే ఉన్న వాళ్ళలో కంటే ఎక్కువ ఓట్లు వస్తాయో వాళ్ళే విన్నింగ్ క్యాండిడేట్, రైట్? సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్టింగ్ ది మెంబర్స్ ఆఫ్ particular Lok Sabha. Say for example, if there are 100 votes total, think that one candidate got 31, one candidate got 32, and the remaining is, if it is 63 here, it is 37. Alright, now who is the winning candidate? Alright, one got 31, one got 32, and one got 37. Who is the winning candidate? Obviously, alright, everybody 37 votes, that's the winning candidate. Alright, so the candidate has won the election. What is the majority? In the majority can gelchina da. Alright, with 5 votes, with 5 votes when compared to the nearest rival, right? Nearest rival to పోల్చుకుంటే 5 ఓట్లతోటి గెలిచింది. సో మీరు ఎందుకంటే నేను ఎప్పుడైనా ఎలక్షన్స్ రిజల్ట్స్ చూస్తే ఎప్పుడైనా సరే ఇదే పదం వాడతారు, రైట్? సమీప ప్రత్యర్థి, తెలుగులో అంటే ఇదే వర్డ్ వాడడం, సమీప ప్రత్యర్థి, నియరెస్ట్ రైవల్. సో ఇక్కడ నియరెస్ట్ రైవల్ ఎవరు? The one who has 32 votes. So when compared to this particular candidate, right, the winning candidate has got 5 votes more than the nearest rival. That means if take this system, right, if 37 people are electing this candidate, how 63 people are rejecting this candidate. Chudandi, only 37 are favoring this candidate. Remaining 63, they are not favoring this candidate. So do you think that this system of election is really a wise system? నిజంగానే ఈ పద్ధతి కరెక్ట్ పద్ధత? 37 మంది కావాలనుకుంటున్నారు, కానీ వద్దన వాళ్ళు ఎంతమంది? 63 మంది. ఇప్పుడు కావాలనుకున్న వాళ్ళకంటే వద్దన వాళ్ళు ఎక్కువ. మరి ఈ సిస్టమ్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్షన్, ఈ ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఆఫ్ ఎలక్షన్ రైట్ ప్రిన్సిపలా కాదా? వాట్ యు సే? ఇలాంటి ఈ ప్రిన్సిపల్ రైట్ ప్రిన్సిపలా కాదా? నిజంగానే ఇలాంటి పద్ధతి మనం ఫాలో కావచ్చా? షుడ్ యూ ఫాలో దిస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ సిస్టమ్, దిస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ ఫర్ ఎలక్టింగ్ ద మెంబర్స్ టు లోక్సభ? కనీసం 50% మెంబర్స్, 50% ఓటర్స్ కూడా యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయట్లేదు, రైట్? ఈవెన్ ద విన్నింగ్ క్యాండిడేట్ ఈస్ నాట్ గెట్టింగ్ ద మెజారిటీ ఆఫ్ అట్లీస్ట్ 50%. ఒక కాన్స్టిట్యుయెన్సీలో కనీసం 50% అన్నా సపోర్ట్ చేయాలి కదా. కానీ అలా కాకుండా ఇక్కడ సపోర్ట్ చేసే వాళ్ళు ఎంతమంది? ఓన్లీ 37% మెంబర్స్ మాత్రమే. రైట్. సో డోంట్ థింక్ దిస్ యాజ్ రైట్ a loophole in the existing system of elections. Don't think this as a loophole in the existing system of elections. Can we regard this as a loophole? Can we regard this as a loophole in the system of elections? What do you say? Can you say this? Can you think this as a loophole in the system of elections? Right? So this is one of the important debate that is going in India. This is one of the important debate that is going in India. Even the law commissions have given a report to change this system of first past the post. ఈ పద్ధతి మార్చమని ఈవెన్ లా కమిషన్స్ కూడా రికమెండ్ చేశాయి. రైట్. ఎందుకంటే ఇక్కడ the winning candidate is not even getting a 50% of majority. So it is because of this reason, right, changes were recommended to this principle. Right. So I am not getting the response. If someone gives the answer, then I will go ahead. Someone do respond, so that I can go ahead. Alright. Okay. Right. So this is the principle that is used in the election of members to the Lok Sabha. Right. So right. Now let me talk about the qualifications required. Qualifications required to get elected to Lok Sabha. Let me talk about the qualifications required to get elected to Lok Sabha. First of all, right, he should be a citizen of India. Alright. Should have attained the age of 25 years. Should not hold any office of profit. Right? The contesting candidate should not hold any office of profit. Exactly, even the last Friday there was a problem with the sound. And the remaining days there was no problem with the sound. Yesterday or day before in the last 4-5 days, you have faced any problem on the sound? The mic? Have you faced any kind of problem with the mic? So I will start the class, I will change the mic, just wait for 15 minutes, alright? Wait for 15 minutes, I will start the class in 15 minutes. So be online, I will change the mic. So now, whether my voice is clear to you? Alright, so thank you. So the candidate who is contesting the elections should not hold any office of profit. Should not hold any office of profit. Alright, so should be citizen of India, should have attained the age of 25 years, should not hold any office of profit, and should not be, right, should not be disqualified, should not be disqualified, should not be disqualified, all right, and he should not be a person with, should not be a person with unsound mind, unsound mind or infirmity of mind. Alright, so these are infirmity of mind. So these are different qualifications. These are different qualifications. These are different qualifications that are required to get elected as member of Lok Sabha. Right, citizen of India, 25 years of age, should not hold any office of profit, should not be disqualified either by a law of parliament or by constitution. Right, should not be disqualified by and should not be a person with unsound mind or infirmity of mind. So these are the qualifications required to get elected as member of Lok Sabha. Right, to get elected as member of Lok Sabha. Right, so alright, so this is how the members are elected to Lok Sabha. Alright, now this is the case of Lok Sabha. Coming to Rajya Sabha, the members of Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly by people. They are elected indirectly by people. That is, the members of Rajya Sabha are elected. The members of Rajya Sabha are elected by elected members of state legislature. The members of Rajya Sabha are elected by the the elected members of another term, that is the another qualification is should be a person who is should not be a person who is convicted, or he should not be undischarged insolvent. Alright, so this is also a qualification that is required to get elected. Alright, so coming to Rajya Sabha, the members of Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly. That is, they are elected by elected members of state legislature. They should be elected members of state legislature. Alright, so this is how the members are elected. This is the principle adopted in the election of Rajya Sabha. This is the principle adopted in the election of Rajya Sabha. Alright, so that means it is MLAs of state legislature. It is MLAs who will elect the members of Rajya Sabha on the principle of proportional representation system by secret ballot. Right, it is on the principle of proportional representation system. By secret ballot. Right, so it is MLAs who will cast their votes. In electing the members of Rajya Sabha. Right, so the members of Rajya Sabha are elected indirectly by people, that is through their MLAs in a secret balloting system. Alright, now the issue is whether the members are elected from union territories to Rajya Sabha. Alright. So say for example, take the UTs of Delhi and Pondicherry. They have their assemblies. They have their assemblies. Now these UTs having assemblies or other UTs, can they elect members to Rajya Sabha? Alright. So if a law is made by parliament, based upon the law of parliament, that is parliament by a law can provide, right, representation to these UTs in Rajya Sabha. Alright. So they can be elected to Rajya Sabha if there is a law made by parliament. Alright. So adi parliament system. UTs ki representation ivvala ivvakodada annadi parliament system. Alright. So parliament law dwara provide cheyochu. Alright. So parliament has every power to provide. Parliament has every power to provide representation to the UTs. Right. So if you take the qualifications required to get elected as members of Rajya Sabha, if you take the qualifications which are required to get elected to the Rajya Sabha is, should be citizen of India, should be citizen of India, alright, should have attained the age of 30 years. In case of Lok Sabha it is 25, now it is 30 years, right. Should not be an undischarged insolvent, alright. It is, he should not be convicted by in any kind of insolvency, right. He should then he should not be a person with unsound mind or infirmity of mind, then he should not hold any office of profit, alright. Should not be disqualified, alright. So these are the conditions, of these are the qualifications required to get elected to Rajya Sabha, alright. So we have seen qualifications for Lok Sabha and qualifications for Rajya Sabha, alright. So these are the qualifications, required to get elected to Rajya Sabha. So let me talk about presiding officers. Presiding officers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Actually, I have forgot to mention one point. Right now, now I got the idea. So, who will act as a returning officer in the election of president and vice president? So, in the previous classes, we have seen election of president and vice president. All right. So, who will act as the returning officers? The returning officer during the election of president and vice president. Do you have any idea? ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఎలక్షన్స్లో కానీ వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ ఎలక్షన్స్లో కానీ రిటర్నింగ్ ఆఫీసర్గా ఎవరు వ్యవహరిస్తారు? రైట్, రిమెంబర్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ది సెక్రటరీ జనరల్ ఆఫ్ లోక్ సభ ఆర్ the Secretary General of Rajya Sabha. It is in a rotation basis. On a rotation basis, it is Secretary Generals of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha who will act as presiding officers. So it is the Secretary Generals. So gurtu pettukovalsina point nenu appudu cheppడం మర్చిపోయినా. It is the Secretary Generals. Right? It is the Secretary Generals of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha on a rotation basis who will act as returning officers in the election of president and vice president. They will supervise the entire electoral process. Right? So now coming to presiding officers, let me first talk about presiding officers of Lok Sabha. So who will normally preside Lok Sabha? So Lok Sabhani evaru preside చేస్తారు? Lok Sabhani ఎవరు chair చేస్తారు? Who will chair Lok Sabha or preside Lok Sabha? We all know it is Speaker. It is Speaker who will preside. It is Speaker who will preside the Lok Sabha. But until speaker is elected, who will preside the house? So we all know that it is speaker who will preside the Lok Sabha, and this speaker is elected by members of Lok Sabha. Speaker annavadu he is elected by members of Lok Sabha. ఆ స్పీకర్ని ఎన్నుకునేంత వరకు లోక్ సభని ఎవరు ప్రిసైడ్ చేస్తారు? రైట్, డూ యూ హ్యావ్ ఎనీ ఐడియా? Until speaker is elected, who will preside the house, who will preside Lok Sabha? It is pro tem speaker. Good Shashidhar, right? It is pro tem speaker. It is pro tem speaker who will chair the house. Until speaker is elected. And coming to this pro tem speaker is appointed by President of India. It is President of India who appoints pro tem speaker. Right? Normally, the criteria for choosing pro tem speaker is the senior most member of the house. It is the senior most member of the house who is elected as pro tem speaker. It is the senior most member of the house who is elected as pro tem speaker. Alright? So Gurtupetukondi. So now senior most member means what? The one who is elected for more number of times. The one who is elected to Lok Sabha for maximum number of times. అంటే ఎవరైతే లోక్సభకి ఎక్కువ సార్లు ఎన్నికవుతారో అతన్ని ప్రోటం స్పీకర్గా ప్రెసిడెంట్ అపాయింట్ చేస్తాడు. రైట్, సో ఇది క్రైటీరియా. ప్రోటం స్పీకర్గా అపాయింట్ చేయాలి అంటే రైట్ ఎక్కువ సార్లు ఎన్నికై ఉండాలి హౌస్కి. రైట్, దట్ ఈస్ ద సీనియర్ మోస్ట్ మెంబర్. The senior most member of Lok Sabha is appointed as pro tem speaker, and this pro tem speaker will be in office. The pro tem speaker will be in office until new speaker is elected. Right, so this pro tem speaker will be in office until new speaker is elected. Right, so new speaker is elected and he will supervise. This pro tem speaker will supervise the entire election of speaker. Alright, not only this, it is pro tem speaker who will administer oath of office to the newly elected members of the house. ఎవరైతే లోక్సభకి కొత్తగా ఎన్నికవుతారో, ఫస్ట్ టైం ఎన్నికవుతారో వాళ్ళకి ప్రమాణ స్వీకారం చేయించేది కూడా pro tem స్పీకరే. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ pro tem స్పీకర్, రైట్, who will administer oath of office. It is pro tem speaker who will administer oath of office to the newly elected members of Lok Sabha. Right, so these are the functions of pro tem speaker, and pro tem speaker will be in office until right the new speaker is elected and the new speaker takes the oath, and it is the pro tem speaker again. It is pro tem speaker again who will administer oath to the newly elected speaker of Lok Sabha. Right, కొత్తగా ఎలెక్టెడ్ మెంబర్స్కి ఆ తర్వాత రైట్ స్పీకర్గా ఎలెక్ట్ అయిన పర్సన్కి రైట్ ప్రమాణ స్వీకారం చేయించేది pro tem speaker. Alright, am I clear to you? Just give your response. అర్థమైందా లేదా? Am I clear about the role of pro tem speaker? Say yes or no. మీరు ఆన్సర్లు చెప్తే నేనేం పైసలు తీసుకోను. రైట్, ఫ్రీయే. ఆన్సర్లు చెప్పడం కూడా ఫ్రీయే. రైట్, సో మీరు ఏం భయపడాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. రైట్, రైట్, సో he can be anyone, but there is a tradition in India. So normally there are two things. The senior most member is appointed as speaker, right, until the pro tem speaker is appointed. Gurtupetukondi, until pro tem speaker is appointed, the speaker of previous Lok Sabha will chair the house. There should be someone to chair the house, right, until pro tem speaker assumes the chair. It is a previous speaker. All right, am I clear to you, Shashidhar? All right, so this is the what you call role of proton speaker. All right, so this speaker, the speaker of Lok Sabha, is elected by members of the house on the principle of majority among them, right? So the speaker is elected, right, one amongst the members of Lok Sabha. So one amongst the members of Lok Sabha is elected as speaker by a majority of members of Lok Sabha. అంటే లోక్ సభలో ఒకరిని ఉన్న వాళ్ళలో ఒకరిని స్పీకర్గా ఎన్నుకోవడము, right? So what do you mean by majority here? It is 50% plus 1, that is 1 more than half. It is 1 more than half. That is the majority required to elect speaker of Lok Sabha. All right, it is 1 more than half to elect the speaker of Lok Sabha. Okay, all right. So now along with speaker, there is also deputy speaker. That is, the deputy speaker will act as a chair, right, when there is a temporary absence of speaker, right? So if you take this deputy speaker, deputy speaker will act as a chair, in case of temporary vacancy, or in case of what you call temporary absence, temporary vacancy, or in case of temporary absence of the speaker. So గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, deputy speaker will chair the house only in case of temporary vacancy, not in the case of permanent vacancy, right? So permanent vacancy ఉన్నప్పుడు, right, డిప్యూటీ స్పీకర్ చైర్ చేయడానికి వీల్లేదు. ఎప్పుడైతే టెంపరీ వేకెన్సీ ఉంటుందో అప్పుడు మాత్రమే డిప్యూటీ స్పీకర్ అన్న వాళ్ళు, రైట్, స్పీకర్గా వ్యవహరించుకోవచ్చు, రైట్? సో alright, so this is the condition. And if you take this deputy speaker, same as speaker, even deputy speaker is elected by members of Lok Sabha, right? He is also elected by members of Lok Sabha. That is, one amongst the members is normally elected as deputy speaker. So we have a tradition, so the member of ruling party is appointed as speaker and the member of opposition party is appointed as deputy speaker. So if you take traditions in India, right, if you take this traditions in India, all right, we have this ruling party member being appointed as speaker and the opposition party member is appointed as deputy speaker. All right, so coming to your doubt, Shashidhar, right, protem speaker. So protem speaker is right, it is a constitutionally recognized officer, right? It is a constitutionally recognized officer. But let me check once, right? Because, all right, so before giving anything, right, I will clarify, right, in different sources. So it is a constitutional position, but still, all right, I will check and I will give the details. All right, so as of now you can call it as, you can deem it as a constitutional officer. So it is constitutionally recognized. All right, So if you take, all right, if you take what you call deputy speaker, so deputy speaker is elected. Deputy speaker is elected amongst the members of Lok Sabha. Deputy speaker is elected amongst the members of Lok Sabha, right? And this deputy speaker will chair the house. Deputy speaker will chair the house, all right, only when there is a temporary vacancy. Only when there is a temporary vacancy in, all right, in the office of speaker. All right. Now in case of permanent vacancy, I am saying that deputy speaker will chair the house only when there is a temporary vacancy in the Lok Sabha. All right. But if there is a permanent vacancy, in the office of speaker, then who should chair the house? Who will chair the house in case of permanent vacancy? All right. In case of permanent vacancy, who will act as speaker? Who will act as speaker? ఒకవేళ పర్మనెంట్ వేకెన్సీ వచ్చింది అనుకోండి, ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ పర్మనెంట్ వేకెన్సీ, హూ విల్ యాక్ట్ యాజ్ స్పీకర్ ఆఫ్ లోక్సభ? హూ విల్ యాక్ట్ యాజ్ స్పీకర్ ఆఫ్ లోక్సభ? Now I want your answers. So in case of permanent vacancy, it is again pro tem speaker. It is pro tem speaker who will act as what you call the chair of the house in case of permanent vacancy. బాగా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి, ఎప్పుడైతే పర్మనెంట్ వేకెన్సీ ఉంటుందో, ఎప్పుడైతే పర్మనెంట్ యాబ్సెన్స్ ఉంటుందో, ఆ కండిషన్స్లో ఇట్ ఈస్ ద pro tem speaker who will act as the chairperson. రైట్? బాగా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. సో పర్మనెంట్ వేకెన్సీ వచ్చినప్పుడు డిప్యూటీ స్పీకర్గా యాక్ట్ చేయడానికి వీలు లేదు. రైట్? సో డిప్యూటీ స్పీకర్ విల్ ప్రిసైడ్ ది హౌస్ ఓన్లీ ఇన్ దీస్ టూ కండిషన్స్. కమింగ్ టు యువర్ డౌట్, శశిధర్, రైట్, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆర్టికల్ 94 ఆఫ్ ఇండియన్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. It is Article 94 of Indian Constitution, right, where there is a clear mention of pro tem speaker. Right, in Article 94 of Indian Constitution, there is a mention of pro tem speaker. So pro tem speaker is a constitutional authority. Right? So this is a concrete answer for your doubt. All right. So this is what about appointment of the election of speaker as well as election of deputy speaker. So we have seen how speaker is elected and how deputy speaker is elected. All right. So in the temporary absence of speaker and deputy speaker, there will be a panel of members. There will be a panel of 10 members. Who will act as chair of the Lok Sabha? That is, it is one of these 10 members who will act as chairperson of Lok Sabha in case of temporary absence of speaker and deputy speaker. చిన్న ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తా, ఒక నవ్వుకున్న ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తే వినండి. ఇద్దరు కలిసి ఒకటే కార్లో సినిమాకి పోయింది అనుకుందాం. స్పీకర్ డిప్యూటీ స్పీకర్ ఇద్దరు కలిసి సినిమాకి పోయింది ఒకటే కార్లో. మరి అలాంటప్పుడు అంటే సినిమాకి పోయినలో, ఛాయ్ తాగడానికి పోయినలో, టిఫిన్ చేయడానికి పోయినలో ఇద్దరు కలిసి బయటికి పోయింది అనుకుందాం. హౌస్లో చిరాకు వచ్చి ఇద్దరు కలిసి బయటికి పోయినప్పుడు మరి ఆ హౌస్ని ఎవరు నడిపియాలి? ఆ హౌస్ని ఎవరు రన్ చేయాలి? దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఇన్స్టాన్స్ ఆఫ్ టెంపరీ అబ్సెన్స్ ఆఫ్ వాట్ కాల్ స్పీకర్ అండ్ డిప్యూటీ స్పీకర్. ఇద్దరు లేనప్పుడు, ఇద్దరు బయటికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు, రైట్, హౌస్ని ఎవరు రన్ చేయాలి? ఇట్ ఈస్ దిస్ 10-member panel. So there will be an order. Right? So it is one of this 10-member panel, right, who is present in the house will chair the house. and this panel is appointed by Speaker of Lok Sabha. It is Speaker of Lok Sabha who will appoint this panel of 10 members. It is Speaker of Lok Sabha who will appoint the panel of 10 members. So it is one of this 10-member panel. It is one of this 10-member panel who will preside the house in case of temporary absence of Speaker and Deputy Speaker. Right? So these are presiding officers of Lok Sabha: Proton Speaker, Speaker, Deputy Speaker, right, and a 10-member panel. Right? So these are different members. These are different members who will act as presiding officers. Ardhamainda? So am I clear about the presiding officers of Lok Sabha? Once again I repeat, it is Proton Speaker, Speaker, Deputy Speaker, and the 10-member panels. Right? One of the 10-member panel who will preside the Lok Sabha. All right. So this is about what you call presiding officers. Am I clear or not? I want you to give the answers. Ardhamainda leda? All right. So now there is one we should have very good doubt raised. All right. If you take this Deputy Speaker, though we use the word Deputy Speaker, right, in terms of authority, in terms of powers and functions, because remember, what is the role of Deputy Speaker? The role of Deputy Speaker is to act as Speaker when Speaker is not in session or when Speaker is not in office. That is, Deputy Speaker acts as a Speaker when there is a temporary absence. So Deputy Speaker possesses the same powers and same authority as that of what you call Speaker of Lok Sabha. So in terms of powers and authority, we cannot treat Deputy Speaker as subordinate to Speaker of Lok Sabha. In terms of powers and authorities, we cannot treat Deputy Speaker as subordinate to Speaker of Lok Sabha. Right? A very good doubt, because నేను కొన్ని ఫ్లోలో కొన్ని పాయింట్స్ 99% మిస్ కాను, బట్ ఇన్ కేస్ మిస్ అయినా కానీ again I will be discussing in question papers or in during tests. But very good doubt raised by Seshdar. So we cannot treat him as subordinate. So though we use the word Deputy Speaker, right, we cannot treat him as subordinate to Speaker in terms of powers and authorities. But coming to table of precedence, in the order of precedence, right, that is in the constitutional order, first comes Speaker and then comes Deputy Speaker. Order of precedence లో రైట్ స్పీకర్ తర్వాతనే డిప్యూటీ స్పీకర్, రైట్. కానీ హౌస్లో మాత్రము వెన్ డిప్యూటీ స్పీకర్ యాక్ట్స్ యాజ్ స్పీకర్, యూ కెన్ నాట్ ట్రీట్ what you call this deputy speaker as subordinate to Speaker of Lok Sabha. Right? So this is about what you call presiding house of Lok Sabha. Then coming to Rajya Sabha, same as it is. Right? We have chairperson. In case of Rajya Sabha, we have chairperson of Rajya Sabha, that is chairman of Rajya Sabha, then deputy chairman. All right. So one of the members of Rajya Sabha, is elected as deputy chairperson, right. So and apart from chairperson and deputy chairperson, there will be a panel of 10 members, right. And this panel of 10 members, they are appointed by chairperson of Rajya Sabha. So it is chairperson of Rajya Sabha who will appoint this. It is chairperson of Rajya Sabha who will appoint this panel of 10 members, right. So normally it is chairperson in the temporary absence of chairperson. That is, say for example, if deputy chairperson who is also vice president of India, remember it is vice president of India who acts as ex officio chairperson of Rajya Sabha. So when this chairperson of Rajya Sabha acts as president of India, ఎప్పుడైతే వైస్ ప్రెసిడెంట్ బాధ్యతలు తీసుకుంటాడో, దట్ ఈస్ వెన్ ఎవర్, రైట్, in case of what you call vice president acting as president, then it is deputy chairperson who will act as chair of the house, right? And in the temporary absence of deputy chairperson, it is panel of 10 members, that is one of this 10-member panel will act as chairperson of Rajya Sabha. So chairperson of Rajya Sabha, then it is what you call then it is deputy chairperson, and then it is 10-member panel. Can there be a pro tem chairperson of Rajya Sabha? Can there be a situation of pro tem chairperson of Rajya Sabha? Lok Sabhalo ఉన్నట్టుగా రాజ్య సభలో కూడా pro tem chairperson ఉంటాడా? సో లోక్ సభలో pro tem స్పీకర్ ఉన్నాడు. సో కమింగ్ టు Rajya Sabha, can there be a pro tem chairperson of Rajya Sabha? Can there be a pro tem chairperson of Rajya Sabha? Can there be a pro tem chairperson of Rajya Sabha? Now, what is your answer for this question? What is your answer for this question? Alright, so Rajya Sabha is a permanent body. Rajya Sabha is a permanent body, right? So here in case of Rajya Sabha, there is no issue of any pro tem chairpersons, alright? So pro tem is used only in the context of Lok Sabha, but not for Rajya Sabha, right? So these are the presiding officers of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, alright? So next, let me move towards vacation of seat and disqualification of members of Lok Sabha. Very, very important. Article 101 and Article 102 of Indian Constitution. Alright. So Article 101 deals with vacancy, vacation of seat in Parliament, whereas Article 102 deals with disqualification. Vacation of seat and disqualification of seat, right? So it is of MPs, members of Parliament, whereas గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి Article 190, Article 191, it deals with MLAs, vacation of seat by MLA and disqualification of MLAs, right? So these are the relevant articles for what you call vacation of seat and disqualification of members, alright? So under what conditions, alright, sorry, so before going to vacation of seat and disqualification, let me talk about the tenure and removal of speaker and deputy speaker. I forgot to mention it. So if you take Lok Sabha and speaker of Lok Sabha, so let me complete this complete part. Tenure of speaker and deputy speaker, alright. So what is the normal tenure of speaker? From the date of election, from the date of assuming of office, the speaker or deputy speaker will stay in the office for a period of 5 years, alright. They will stay in the office for a period of 5 years, okay, right. At the same time, the speaker can resign as well as speaker can be removed, right. Speaker and deputy speaker can resign as well as they can be removed, right. So if you take the issue of resignation, if speaker want to give his resignation, he can resign to the office by tendering his resignation to deputy speaker. So in case of speaker, the resignation is given to deputy speaker, and in case of deputy speaker, the resignation is given to speaker of Lok Sabha. That is how they can resign to the office of speaker, right. It is to the office of speaker. Alright, this is one thing. That means resigning to the office of speaker does not mean that right, it is resignation to member of parliament. Speaker office కు మాత్రమే ప్రిసైడింగ్ ఆఫీసర్గా మాత్రమే రిజైన్ చేయడము, రైట్, నాట్ యాజ్ వాట్, నాట్ యాజ్ what you call member of parliament. He will be acting as member of parliament, అంటే ఎంపీగా కొనసాగుతాడు కానీ స్పీకర్గా మాత్రం ఆఫీస్లో ఉండడు. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ resignation, right? So the speaker can resign by giving the resignation to what you call by giving resignation to deputy speaker, whereas the deputy speaker can resign by giving resignation to speaker of Lok Sabha, right? So this is what you should remember, right? Coming to removal, right? So both speaker and deputy speaker are removed by passing a resolution, alright, by passing a resolution in Lok Sabha, by passing a resolution in Lok Sabha by effective majority, alright. So they are removed, alright, by passing a resolution in Lok Sabha by effective majority, alright. So first of all, what do you mean by effective majority? What do you mean by effective majority? What do you mean by effective majority? So we have seen simple majority and we have seen special majority. Then what is this effective majority? Effective majority is nothing but simple majority, but there is a change, right? In effective majority, it is simple majority of all the members present and voting, right? It is majority of, right? Effective majority means it is majority of all the members present and voting, majority of all the members present and voting, right? That is one more than half, that is 50% plus one vote. అంటే ఉన్న వాళ్ళల్లో, రైట్, 50% కన్నా ఒక ఓట్ ఎక్కువ, రైట్. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ స్పెషల్ మెజారిటీ. ఇట్ ఈస్ వన్ మోర్ దెన్ హాఫ్, దట్ ఈస్ మెజారిటీ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ది మెంబర్స్ ప్రెజెంట్ అండ్ voting. That is what effective majority. Right, then when it is called as simple majority, simple majority ki effective majority ki teda entity. What is the difference between simple majority and effective majority? What is the difference between simple majority and effective majority? So in simple majority, it is the word of all. In simple majority, we need not require all the members to be present. సింపుల్ మెజారిటీ అన్నప్పుడు అందరు ఉండాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, మినిమం కోరం ఉంటే సరిపోతుంది, రైట్. మినిమం స్ట్రెంత్ ఉంటే సరిపోతుంది, అందరు ఉండాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు, రైట్. సో సింపుల్ మెజారిటీలో ఉన్న వాళ్ళల్లో వన్ మోర్ దెన్ హాఫ్. ఎఫెక్టివ్ మెజారిటీలో, రైట్, అందరూ ఉండాలి, అందులో వన్ మోర్ దెన్ హాఫ్ ఉండాలి, అది ఎఫెక్టివ్ మెజారిటీ. సో ఆ ఆల్ అన్న పదమే డిఫరెన్స్, రైట్. The difference between simple majority and effective majority is, right, the word of all, right. It is the word of all. It is word of all, right. So this is the basic difference between, right, simple majority and effective majority. So in simple majority, the minimum strength, that is quorum, is required, right. So at least minimum strength is required, and out of which, right, half plus majority, right. So to remove speaker and deputy speaker, the resolution should be passed by effective majority. And during this removal process, and remember, during this removal process, right, the speaker or deputy speaker will not chair the house, right. That a resolution against whom is passed, they will not chair the house. If a resolution is passed, if a resolution is moved against Speaker of Lok Sabha, then Speaker will not chair the house. If a resolution is moved against Rajya Sabha, Deputy Speaker, then the Deputy Speaker will not chair the house. So ఎవరికి అగేన్స్ట్కి అయితే రెజల్యూషన్ మూవ్ చేస్తారో వాళ్ళు చైర్లో కూర్చోవడానికి వీల్లేదు. సెకండ్ థింగ్, వితౌట్ ప్రొవైడింగ్ అ నోటీస్, without providing the information about this resolution, either speaker or deputy speaker cannot be removed. So a notice should be given and information should be given regarding this resolution. Alright, so it is from that date, it is from what you call, it is normally we have a what you call 14-day notice period. Normally a 14-day notice period is given to right speaker or deputy speaker or president of India, right. So without providing this notice, right, speaker or deputy speakers cannot be removed. And another important point that we should note is, alright, so speaker should not chair the house, and speaker has every voting right during this what we call voting process. Speaker or deputy speaker, they can be the first one to vote in the what you call on passing of this resolution. Normally, if you take speaker, speaker has a right to vote only in case of tie. That is only when there is a case of equality of votes, right? Only when there is equality of votes casted. సో నార్మల్గా ఎప్పుడైతే సమానంగా ఓట్స్ వస్తాయో అప్పుడు మాత్రమే, అంటే స్పీకర్ షుడ్ బి ద లాస్ట్ పర్సన్ టు కాస్ట్ హిస్ ఓట్, రైట్. అందరి తర్వాతనే అంటే లాస్ట్కి, అది కూడా ఎప్పుడు సమానమైన ఓట్స్ వచ్చినప్పుడు మాత్రమే స్పీకర్ తన ఓటింగ్ రైట్ని యూజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు, అది నార్మల్గా అయితే. కానీ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ రిమూవల్ ప్రాసెస్, దట్ ఈస్ డ్యూరింగ్ ద రిమూవల్ ప్రాసెస్, స్పీకర్ కెన్ బి ద ఫస్ట్ పర్సన్ టు యూజ్ హిస్ voting right, right. So in normal conditions, the voting right that is casted by the voting right used, the vote given by speaker is called as casting vote. దానికి పదం ఉంది, అదే casting vote. Casting vote means the vote of speaker, right. Casting vote means the vote of speaker which is used only in case of equality of votes, right. Only in the case of equality of votes, right. Right, that is in the last instance, but in case of resolution, that is in case of removal of speaker, right, need not wait for all, he can be the first person to vote. అర్థమవుతుంది కదా. సో నార్మల్గా అయితే లాస్ట్, ఇక్కడ మాత్రం ఫస్ట్. ఇట్ ఈస్ అప్ టు ద స్పీకర్, తనే ముందుగా ఓటేసుకోవచ్చు, రైట్. సో దిస్ ఈస్ హౌ what you call the speaker or deputy speaker are removed, right. So and there is no role for Rajya Sabha, there is no role for Rajya Sabha in removal of speaker, right. In the previous class we have seen removal of vice president. So do Lok Sabha has any role in the removal of vice president? Do Lok Sabha has any role? Do Lok Sabha has any role in the removal of vice president? Vice president removal process లో లోక్సభకి ఏమైనా రోల్ ఉందా? సో వన్ సెడ్ నో, రామకృష్ణ సెడ్ నో. Alright, so do Lok Sabha has any role in what you call removal of chairperson of Rajya Sabha, right. If you take this removal of chairperson of Rajya Sabha, right, he is removed, the chairperson of Rajya Sabha is removed by passing a resolution with special majority in Rajya Sabha, and which should be agreed by Lok Sabha. So without Lok Sabha agreeing, the Rajya Sabha chairperson cannot be removed. That means the Lok Sabha has a role, Lok Sabha has a role, right, in the removal of chairperson of Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha chairperson removal process లో లోక్ సభకు రోల్ ఉంది. లోక్ సభ ఒప్పుకోకుండా రాజ్యసభ చైర్మన్ని రైట్ రిమూవ్ చేయడానికి వీలు లేదు. అది రోల్ ఆఫ్ లోక్సభ ఇన్ విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు చైర్పర్సన్ ఆఫ్ రాజ్యసభ. కమింగ్ టు స్పీకర్ ఆఫ్ లోక్సభ, రైట్, రిమూవల్ ఆఫ్ స్పీకర్ ఆఫ్ లోక్సభ, దట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ కేస్ ఆఫ్ రిమూవల్ ఆఫ్ స్పీకర్ ఆఫ్ లోక్సభ, రైట్, ది చైర్పర్సన్, ది రాజ్యసభ హ్యాస్ నో రోల్. రాజ్యసభ హ్యాస్ నో రోల్ ఇన్ ద రిమూవల్ ఆఫ్ స్పీకర్ ఆఫ్ లోక్సభ. Am I clear? Am I clear on this point? All right. So this is about what you call, this is about removal of presiding officers in Lok Sabha. All right. Take down a question. Write down a question. Explain the process of explain the process of appointment and removal of explain the process of appointment and removal of chairperson of appointment and removal of Speaker of Lok Sabha. Explain the process of appointment and removal of Speaker of Lok Sabha. Right, the process of appointment as well as removal of Speaker of Lok Sabha. So this is the question for you. So we will take a break of 10 minutes, and after that I will discuss both vacation of seat, that is the remaining class. I will start with vacation of seat and disqualification of members of Lok Sabha. Okay, so don't run away. So I will take a break of 10 minutes. So, so let me talk about vacation of seat and disqualification of members. That is Article 101 and Article 102 of Indian Constitution. So let me talk about Article 101 and Article 102 of Indian Constitution. So if you take Article 101 of Indian Constitution, Article 101 of Indian Constitution, it deals with vacation of seat by MPs. Vacation of seat by MPs. Article 102, it deals with disqualification of members of parliament. So one is vacation and the other one is disqualification, and both are equally important for exam. Both are equally important for exam, right? So if you take vacation of seat, that is how MP seat becomes vacant. ఏ కండిషన్స్లో ఎంపీ సీట్ ఖాళీ అవుతుంది, వెకేషన్ అంటే ఖాళీ కావడం, రైట్? సో అండర్ వాట్ కండిషన్స్ దేర్ విల్ బి వెకేషన్ ఆఫ్ సీట్, రైట్? డి so these are the four grounds, right? DDRA, right? So these are the four grounds for bringing a vacancy in the office. DDRA are the four grounds for bringing vacancy, right? D, dual membership. One is dual membership, all right? Second is stands for disqualification under Article 102. Disqualification under Article 102. R stands for resignation. R stands for resignation. A stands for absent without permission for 60 days. Absent without permission. So these are four different grounds. To bring vacancy: dual membership, disqualification, resignation, absent without permission. Right? So these are four different grounds for bringing vacancy in the seat of MP. Alright? So dual membership, that means whenever a person is elected for two seats, so such a person should vacate one of the seat. ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక అభ్యర్థి ఎప్పుడైనా ఒక క్యాండిడేట్ రెండు సీట్స్ని గెలిచినప్పుడు, రెండు సీట్స్ని కంటెస్ట్ చేసి ఆ రెండు సీట్స్లో విన్ అయినప్పుడు ఏదో ఒక సీట్ని వదులుకోవాలి, ఏదో ఒక సీట్ని రిజైన్ చేయాలి. అలా రిజైన్ చేయకుండా రెండు సీట్స్ని హోల్డ్ చేసినప్పుడు, రైట్, రెండు సీట్స్లో మెంబర్షిప్ పోతుంది. Alright, so whenever a person gets elected for two seats, right, such a person should leave one of the seat in 10 days. Right? If not, after 10 days, right, there are different conditions. Right? After 10 days, right, the person will lose, right, both the seats if he fails to resign to one of the seat. Right? In case of Lok Sabha. So there are different conditions. So let me explain. Think that a person is elected for two Lok Sabha seats. If a person is elected to two Lok Sabha seats, in such conditions, if the person fails to resign within 10 days, then he will lose both the seats. This is one thing. Second thing, if a person, right, if a member of Rajya Sabha is also elected to Lok Sabha, that is, if a member of Rajya Sabha, right, is elected to Lok Sabha, then he should resign to one of the seats. In case if the individual fails to resign, right, his membership in the upper house, will automatically gets vacated. Right, the membership in the upper house, right, will become vacant after 10 days. So in this case, the membership in Rajya Sabha will become vacant. The membership in Rajya Sabha will become vacant after 10 days. Alright. So this is what the condition. That is, whenever a same person is elected to both Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, and after 10 days, if the person fails to resign to one of the seat, the membership in upper house will be lost. అంటే అప్పర్ హౌస్లో ఏదైతే అప్పర్ హౌస్ ఉంటుందో అందులో మెంబర్షిప్ ఆటోమేటిక్గా 10 రోజుల తర్వాత పోతుంది. రైట్, ఇది కండిషన్. సిమిలర్లీ ఈజ్ what you call when a same person is elected to Lok Sabha as well as what you call legislature. Alright, if same person is elected to Lok Sabha and MLA, then he should resign to one of the seat within 10 days. If not, the seat in upper house will be lost. Alright, so this is what about, right? So this is what about the election, dual membership. Alright, so in case of dual membership, if whenever a person fails to resign to one of the seat, right, he will lose either both the seats as in the first case, or he will lose the membership in the seat in the upper house. Alright, so this is what about the first condition, that is dual membership. Alright, so dual membership is a ground for vacation of seat. Alright, సో ఎప్పుడైనా 2 సీట్స్కి కంటెస్ట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏదో ఒక సీట్ని వదులుకోవాలి. రైట్, వదులుకున్నప్పుడు ఆటోమేటిక్గా వేకెన్సీ ఏర్పడుతుంది. ఒకవేళ వదులుకోకపోతే 10 రోజుల తర్వాత, రైట్, ఏదైతే అప్పర్ హౌస్ ఉంటుందో దాంట్లో ఆటోమేటిక్గా మెంబర్షిప్ పోతుంది. రైట్, డిస్క్వాలిఫికేషన్. సో డిస్క్వాలిఫికేషన్ అంటారు ఆర్టికల్ 102. రైట్, ఇది మళ్ళీ సపరేట్గా చెప్తాను మీకు. Right, I will teach it separately. So whenever a person is disqualified under article 102, then it is a ground for vacation. Resignation, whenever a member of parliament resigns, if an MP resigns, then automatically after resignation the seat will become vacant. Right, so it will lead to vacancy. Whenever alright, if a member of parliament resigns to the seat. Now if MP want to resign to the office, to whom the resignation should be given, whether to chair of the house or to the party president. Alright, to whom this resignation should be given. If if a member of parliament want to resign to the house, right, to whom the resignation should be given, whether to the chair or to the party. Resignation evariki ivvali? I want you to give the answers. To whom the resignation should be given? Alright, it is to the chair of the house. In case of Lok Sabha it is speaker, and in case of Rajya Sabha it is chairperson of Rajya Sabha. The resignation should be given. To what you call chair of the house. Alright, so resignation to party president has no validity. Resignation to party president resignation ఇచ్చినంత మాత్రాన, right, it won't be treated as resignation. So if really resignation has to be given, it should be to the chair of the house. Alright, so this is how the members of parliament can resign from the office. Alright, so absent without permission. Alright, so here in case if a member of parliament absents, right, if a member of parliament absents without permission for a period of 60 days, right, 60 days without the permission, then in such condition the chair has the seat will automatically gets vacant. So if an MP 60 రోజుల కంటే అంటే 60 రోజుల కంటే పర్మిషన్ లేకుండా యాబ్సెంట్ అయితే 60 రోజుల కంటే పర్మిషన్ లేకుండా యాబ్సెంట్ అయితే, రైట్, తన సీట్ని కోల్పోతాడు, ఆ సీట్ వేకెంట్ అవుతుంది. రైట్, సో దిస్ ఈజ్ అనదర్ కండిషన్, దట్ ఈస్ యాబ్సెంట్ వితౌట్ పర్మిషన్. సో డ్యూయల్ మెంబర్షిప్, disqualification, resignation, absent without permission. Right, so these are different conditions for bringing vacancy in the office of in the seat of parliament. Right. Now coming to disqualification, right. So article 102 of Indian Constitution, ఇది చాలా important exam ki. Coming to disqualification of MPs, right. So under what grounds the MPs are disqualified? First of all, who has the power to disqualify MPs? Who has the power to disqualify MPs? Who has the power to disqualify MPs? So disqualification, who has the power to disqualify MPs? Good morning Saujanya. రోజు వస్తావు గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ చెప్తావు, మళ్ళీ ఆన్సర్ చెప్తావు, రైట్. ఓకే. So if you take this article 102, article 102 deals with disqualification. First of all, who has the power? Who has the power to disqualify? Who has the power to disqualify? So remember, there are two authorities, right. One is President of India. It is actually the President of India who has the power to disqualify MPs based upon the recommendations of Election Commission, right. So it is President of India on the advice of Election Commission can disqualify the members of Parliament, right. So it is President of India on the what do you call, on the report of Election Commission, alright. And in certain cases it is chairperson of the house, right, chair of the house who will disqualify. So for violation of constitution, right, for violation of constitution it is president who will disqualify. And under anti-defection laws, it is chair of the house who will disqualify for violating the anti-defection laws, alright. So remember both these points, alright. So the MPs can be disqualified under two grounds. One is for violation of constitution. The first ground is violation of constitution. It is violation of constitution. The first ground is violation of constitution and violation of laws of parliament, violating the laws of parliament, violation of laws of parliament. And here we have electoral laws, that is violation of electoral laws and violation of anti-defection laws. See for example, Representation to People's Act of 1951. So we have this Representation to People's Act of 1951, alright. Representation to People's Act of 1951, alright. That is what? Law of Parliament. So whenever there is a violation of constitution or violation of what you call electoral laws or violation of anti-defection laws, so these are three grounds for what you call disqualifying the MPs. In first two grounds it is, right, in case of violation of constitution as well as in case of violation of laws of parliament, it is President of India, right, who will disqualify. The power lies with President of India. It is the president who has the power to disqualify them, and this disqualification is done based upon the advice of Election Commission, based upon the report of Election Commission. That is without Election Commission reporting, the President of India, the President of India cannot disqualify them, right. So in this case right, in first and so this case and this case it is president. And coming to anti-defection law, right, so we have 10th schedule, right, if you take 10th schedule of Indian Constitution, which was added in 1985 by 52nd Amendment Act, right. So anti-defection laws, defection, that is whenever there is a defection, right, then, right, under this anti-defection laws, the chair of the house, that is the speaker of Lok Sabha or the chairperson of Rajya Sabha, they have every power to disqualify the members, right. So disqualification can be done by chair of the house, right, under anti-defection laws. So what constitutes defection, what are different grounds under anti-defection law, I will deal this in a separate chapter. So anti-defection law is a separate chapter for us, right. I will discuss there. I will discuss different case studies, that is different judgments given by Supreme Court, right. And but as of now, remember that, right, the disqualification can be made for violating the Constitution. So what do you mean by violation of Constitution? So our Constitution has clearly mentioned specific qualifications: should be citizen of India, should have attained the age of 25 years or 30 years, should not hold any office of profit, right, should not be undischarged insolvent, should not be a person with infirmity of mind. If these grounds are violated, if these constitutional grounds are violated, then, right, such a violation of these grounds will be treated as violation of Constitution. అంటే కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్లో మెన్షన్ చేసిన ఏ క్వాలిఫికేషన్ని వైలేట్ చేసినా, కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్లో మెన్షన్ చేసిన ఏ క్వాలిఫికేషన్ అయినా సరే వైలేట్ చేసినా దాన్ని వయోలేషన్ ఆఫ్ కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్గా ట్రీట్ చేస్తారు, రైట్. సో ఎనీ గ్రౌండ్, ఎనీ క్వాలిఫికేషన్ దట్ ఈస్ వైలేటెడ్ if he is not a citizen of India, or if the Indian citizenship is what you call acquired in an illegal manner. So today we are seeing many such cases in the present day society, in the present day system. We are seeing many cases being filed against this citizenship. Particularly I have seen in Andhra Pradesh, in Telangana region, right, in Telangana region, right, the cases were pending in both Supreme Court as well as High Court. The cases are pending in both Supreme Court and High Court on this issue of citizenship, right. So it is said that, right, right, so some of the members have been challenged in Supreme Court, saying that they have acquired membership, they have acquired citizenship in a illegal manner, right. So this is being questioned, So it is a ground. If the elected candidate acquires Indian citizenship in an illegal manner, definitely it is a ground for disqualification, right. If he is proved as insolvent, if the insolvency is proved, right, if a person is convicted for more than 2 years on a criminal charge, then they are liable for disqualification. Any conviction under criminal charges, right, if he is declared as insolvent, then definitely these are the grounds for disqualifying them, right. These are the grounds for disqualification, right. So disqualification can be done on these grounds by President of India. Violation of Representation of People's Act, electoral laws, right, providing of wrong affidavit, right, what you call wrong information, right, violating any kind of electoral laws, violating code of conduct. So these are the grounds for disqualifying. Now you have raised a very good point on anti-defection laws, right. So we will discuss, right. But coming to you, so the point, Shashidhar, you have raised a very, very important valid point. So why can't we regard anti-defection law as a basic structure of Constitution, right? So already there is a point of a debate on this issue. Even law commissions have recommended changes in this what you call anti-defection laws. law commissions have recommended that the power to disqualify under anti-defection law should not be given to the chair of the house, because there is a gross misuse of these powers. There is a gross misuse of these powers. So because of this, the law commissions of India have recommended that this power should be given to President of India but not to chair. But I will discuss this in detail when I teach what you call anti-defection law. Alright. So it is up to the judiciary. So judiciary has every right, it has every power to declare this anti-defection law as a basic structure of constitution. Alright. So if really deems fit, if it really deems fit, Supreme Court will interfere. So there will be a day, if there is a gross misuse, and if it has become an unavoidable misuse, then it will be made as basic structure. Alright, but as of now, remember that. Alright, so coming to this violation of electoral laws, right, it is the president. Alright, and coming to anti-defection, it is chairperson of the house. So there is a much controversy on this anti-defection laws, because it is not being used properly. There is a misuse in India. There is a misuse. You see this kind of misuse. Even there is a defection of members after getting elected on one political party. They are not being disqualified by chairs. Particularly whenever an opposition party members join the ruling party, they are not being disqualified. ఎప్పుడైతే అపోజిషన్ పార్టీ నుంచి గెలిచి అపోజిషన్ పార్టీ నుంచి మనకు రూలింగ్ పార్టీలోకి మారినప్పుడు వాళ్ళని డిస్క్వాలిఫై చేయట్లేదు. చైర్స్, రైట్, స్పీకర్స్ కానీ పర్టికులర్ స్పీకర్స్ డిస్క్వాలిఫై చేయట్లేదు. రీజన్ ఏంటిది? స్పీకర్ దే దెమ్సెల్వ్స్ బిలాంగ్ టు రూలింగ్ పార్టీ. హూ ఈజ్ అ స్పీకర్? హూ ఈజ్ ద చైర్ ఆఫ్ ది హౌస్? చైర్ ఆఫ్ ద హౌస్ నార్మల్లీ బిలాంగ్స్ టు రూలింగ్ పార్టీ. వాళ్ళే రూలింగ్ పార్టీ మెంబర్స్. ఒకవేళ రూలింగ్ పార్టీలో జాయిన్ అయిపోతే ఏమవుతుంది? రైట్, ఎలాంటి యాక్షన్ తీసుకోరు. అదే రూలింగ్ పార్టీ నుంచి అపోజిషన్ పార్టీకి వెళ్ళిపోతే దే విల్ బి డిస్క్వాలిఫైడ్. ఇది జరిగింది ఇండియాలో. రైట్, వీ కెన్ సీ దిస్. ఓ సారీ. రైట్, we can see this what you call disqualification of party to the opposition party. This was happened with Sharad Yadav 2017 lo Sharad Yadav jarigindi. Of course now he is not there. So it has happened, right? Who are the members of what you call Janata Dal United. So when they withdrawn support to the Modi government, what happened is they are being disqualified, right? So there is a politics. There are politics against this. What you call? There are politics against using of anti-defection laws. All right. There are politics against using of anti-defection laws. Right. So this is what about disqualification. So we have seen disqualification. 8, 9, 10. Disqualification. Okay. So if we take disqualification for violation of constitution, violation of electoral laws, that is Representation to People's Act of 1951, right? Disqualification under anti-defection laws, right? Disqualification under anti-defection laws, right? So today, right, just let me remind of what we have discussed today, right? So don't think that it is an end of the class, but we started our discussion with Parliament, all right? Then we have discussed the functions of Parliament. Then we have discussed, all right, the members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, their election, qualification. We have talked about presiding officers of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Alright, then we have talked about removal of speaker and deputy speaker. Then we are talking about vacation of seat as well as disqualification. Alright, so these are the topics that we have discussed till now. These are the topics that we have discussed till now in today's class. Alright, So anti-defection law. So take down a question. Before going ahead, take down a question. Remember, every question that is given in the class, it is very, very, very important. And if you want to know the importance of the questions in the class, right, just go and see the previous year papers. Just go through PYQs, particularly asked in polity. Take down a question. Explain the grounds of vacation of seat. Explain the grounds of vacation of seat and disqualification of members. Explain the grounds of vacation of seat and disqualification of members. Explain the grounds for vacation of seat and disqualification of members. Okay. So this is about the question. So please do write answers. Right? I really appreciate those candidates who are writing the answers. If you take this disproportionate assets, coming to a doubt, Shashidhar, disproportionate assets, that means if it is already mentioned in the what you call affidavit, right? If it is mentioned in the what you call affidavit filed during the elections, it is not an issue. But if there is any kind of what you call discrepancy in the assets shown between the assets in affidavit and the actual assets, then it is a ground for disqualification. They can be disqualified. They can be disqualified on the grounds of wrong affidavit. So during the filing of nomination papers, every candidate has to provide an affidavit. If there is a wrong affidavit, it is a ground for disqualification. Okay. So now let us move towards what you call privileges enjoyed by members of parliament. Privileges enjoyed by members of parliament. All right. So if you take these privileges, all right. So in this concept of privileges, the concept of privileges to members of parliament, it is taken from British Constitution. It is taken from British Constitution. So British Constitution has provided in Britain, right, the members of parliament, right, British Parliament has provided, right, privileges to its members. So why these privileges are important, right? So as I said earlier, even when I talked, when I have discussed Article 14, I have clearly mentioned about what you call the privileges, the importance of privileges and where this privilege can be used. All right. So remember, once again I'll repeat. So these privileges given to members of parliament, they are required to be used only within the four walls of parliament. All right. They should be used only within the four walls of parliament. All right. Because the purpose of providing these privileges, is to ensure, all right, freedom for the members of parliament, to raise any issue, to raise any debate fearlessly. The purpose is to ensure that the purpose of this is to have a fearless working of MPs. అంటే మెజారిటీ పార్టీ గవర్నమెంట్కి, అంటే గవర్నమెంట్కి భయపడకుండా, ఎవరికి లొంగకుండా, రైట్, ఎవరికి ఇన్ఫ్లుయెన్స్ కాకుండా ఏ ఇష్యూ అయినా సరే, ఏ డిబేట్ అయినా సరే రేస్ చేయడము. Right. So it is the purpose of giving these privileges. The purpose of giving privileges is to ensure, is to make the members of parliament, to raise any issue, right, fearlessly, to raise any debate, to ask any question, because the government should not impose any kind of fear. The members of parliament should not fear about the government. Right, that is what the intention of providing privileges, and these privileges they are actually, right, though we don't have any law, remember, we don't have any specific law, right, dealing with the usage of privileges. సో ప్రివిలేజెస్ ఎలా వాడుకోవాలి, ఎప్పుడు వాడుకోవాలి, ఎక్కడ వాడుకోవాలని చెప్పడానికి ఎలాంటి లా లేదు ఇండియాలో. we don't have any law regarding the usage of these privileges. అందుకని ఏమవుతుంది, we see misuse of this privilege by members of parliament and MPs and MLAs misusing their privileges. There is a gross misuse. We are seeing this in our daily life, right? In our daily life we are seeing this kind of misuse. So there is a gross misuse of privileges. There is a gross misuse of privileges, right, by MPs of parliament. All right. All right. So this is what we should know. All right. For the fearless working, it is for the fearless working of MPs and MLAs. All right. So Article 104, Article 105 of Indian Constitution. Article 104 as well as Article 105 talks about this privilege. Particularly it is Article 104. So there are both individual privileges and collective privileges. All right. So if you take Indian Constitution provides individual privileges as well as collective privileges to the members of parliament, right? So first let me talk about individual privileges. First let me talk about individual privileges. So what are these individual privileges? All right. So there are three important privileges given to members of parliament. All right. So these privileges are given to both the members of Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha. They have, right, both members of both the MPs of LS and RS, right, they can enjoy these privileges. It is not for only one house, it is for both the houses. It is the privileges given to all the MPs. So if you take these individual privileges, that is, first one is freedom from arrest. First one is freedom from arrest, freedom from acting as a witness, freedom from acting as witness, freedom from acting as witness. Third one, freedom of speech. All right. Third one is freedom of speech, right? So we have freedom from arrest, freedom from acting as a witness and freedom of speech. అమ్మ నేను క్లాస్లో మళ్ళీ కాల్ చేస్తాను. So do call me after some time because I'm in class. Call me at 1 o'clock. So freedom from acting as witness and freedom of speech. So these are the privileges. These are the privileges given to members of parliament. All right. All right. These are the privileges. Freedom of speech. All right. So freedom from arrest, freedom from acting as a witness and freedom of speech. Right. So these are the three individual privileges. These are the three individual privileges that are given to members of parliament. All right. So let me explain each of these. That is, every MP has immunity from arrest. Right, immunity from arrest. That means when no MP can be arrested during the sessions of parliament. During the sessions of parliament without the permission of chair of the house. So during the sessions of parliament and without the permission of chair of the house. That is, no proceeding, right? No civil proceeding or criminal proceeding can be initiated against MP during the sessions of parliament. During the sessions of parliament without the permission of the chair, right? Specifically, this immunity is given against civil proceedings. So no civil proceeding can be initiated, right, during the sessions of parliament without the permission of the chair, and no civil proceeding can be initiated without giving a 40-day notice to the member, right? So this freedom is given from civil cases. So an MP cannot be arrested. An MP cannot be arrested, right, in a civil case. In a civil case without the permission of the chair. అంటే చైర్ పర్మిషన్ లేకుండా హౌస్ సెషన్లో ఉన్నప్పుడు, రైట్, అరెస్ట్ చేయడానికి వీలు లేదు. అది కూడా నోటీస్ ఇవ్వకుండా. అంటే అర్థం ఏంటిది? నోటీస్ ఇచ్చిన 40 days తర్వాత దేర్ కెన్ బి a proceeding against what you call MP. That means there can be arrest only after 40 days. So without providing a 40-day notice, without taking the permission of the chair, no civil proceeding can be initiated against chair of the no civil proceeding can be initiated against members of parliament, right? It can be initiated against members of parliament. Okay, so ఈ బాగా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. So this, remember, this freedom, this immunity is only against civil cases but not for criminal cases. The immunity is not available for criminal cases. So they can be arrested immediately. But the thing is, whenever such an arrest is made, it should be with the permission of the what you call chair. That is, the chair should be given the notice. The chair should be given the permission should be the permission should be taken from the chair. Right? So without the permission of chair, without the notice of the chair, without intimating the chair, right, no criminal proceeding can be initiated against members of parliament. Right? మీకు చిన్న ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్తాను, మీకు ఒక చిన్న ఇష్యూ చెప్తాను. Shibu Soren. How many of you know about the name of Shibu Soren? How many of you know the name of Shibu Soren? నాకు బాగా గుర్తు. షిబు సోరెన్ 2008లో, అంటే హీ వాజ్ అ మినిస్టర్, హీ వాజ్ అ క్యాబినెట్ మినిస్టర్ ఇన్ మన్మోహన్ సింగ్ గవర్నమెంట్. మన్మోహన్ సింగ్ గవర్నమెంట్లో క్యాబినెట్ మినిస్టర్, రైట్? సో అతని కొడుకే ఇప్పుడు జార్ఖండ్ చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్ హూ వాజ్ బీన్ అరెస్టెడ్, రైట్? సో షిబు సోరెన్ యూనియన్ కోల్ మినిస్టర్, రైట్? సో ఇట్ ఈస్ మనకు తెలంగాణలో కేసీఆర్ ఎలానో Shibu Soren Jharkhand kala, because he fought for separation of Jharkhand from Bihar, right? So he was made as minister, and there was a criminal case pending against this Shibu Soren. So while he was minister, the court in Jharkhand has convicted Shibu Soren. He was convicted under a criminal case. The charges were proved. He was convicted and immediately was arrested. That means there is no question of any immunity under criminal charges. Whenever a person is convicted under criminal charge, they are immediately arrested. So you cannot claim any kind of protection in case of what you call criminal cases. So protection in Article 104, right? Protection according to Article 104 is only available. Protection under Article 104 is only available with respect to civil cases but not to the criminal cases. ఇది బాగా గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. ఆ ప్రివిలేజ్ అన్నది ఓన్లీ సివిల్ కేసెస్లో మాత్రమే అవైలబుల్ ఉంటుంది, క్రిమినల్ కేసెస్లో కాదు, రైట్? సో దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ ఫ్రీడమ్ ఫ్రమ్ అరెస్ట్. సెకండ్ వన్, ఫ్రీడమ్ ఫ్రమ్ యాక్టింగ్ యాజ్ అ విట్నెస్. దట్ ఈస్ అగైన్ నో ఎంపీ ఆర్ ఎమ్మెల్యే, అది ఎంపీ కావచ్చు ఎమ్మెల్యే కావచ్చు, సేమ్ థింగ్ ఈజ్ అప్లికబుల్ టు ఎమ్మెల్యేస్ ఆల్సో. Same thing is also applicable to MLAs, right? So no MP or MLA can be asked to give witness, can be asked to act as a witness in any court of law, right? So you cannot ask, right? The MPs or MLAs cannot be asked to provide witness or act as a witness in the court of law without the permission of the chair. Malli ikkada entidi without the permission of chair. If chair permits, then what? Think that a chair has given the permission to act as a witness, to go to courts, right? To go to courts and provide the witness. In case if chair allows, then the MPs can provide, MPs can act as a witness. ఒకవేళ కోర్ట్స్ అలో చేసినాయి అనుకోండి, మరి ఎంపీస్ విట్నెస్గా యాక్ట్ చేయొచ్చా? వెదర్ ఎంపీస్ కెన్ యాక్ట్ యాజ్ ఎ విట్నెస్. Alright, so so remember, if they are permitted by chair, then they can act as witness, right? The only condition is without the permission of chair. Without the permission of chair, they cannot act as an evidence, they cannot act as a witness in any court of law. So right, no person, no MP can be compelled, no MP can be compelled, right? అంటే ఏ ఎంపీని కానీ ఎమ్మెల్యేని కానీ కోర్ట్స్లో విట్నెస్ లాగా యాక్ట్ చేయడం, కోర్టులో విట్నెస్ లాగా ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయడానికి వీల్లేదు, విట్నెస్ ఆర్ ఎవిడెన్స్ ఇవ్వడానికి వీల్లేదు, రైట్? ఎంతవరకు? చైర్ పర్మిషన్ ఇవ్వనంత వరకు. ఒకవేళ పర్మిట్ చేస్తే విట్నెస్ లాగా వాడుకోవచ్చు, పర్మిషన్ ఇవ్వకపోతే వాడుకోవడానికి వీల్లేదు, విట్నెస్ ఇవ్వడానికి వీల్లేదు. రైట్? సో దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ ది సెకండ్ కండిషన్ ఇస్. And coming to the last one, that is freedom of speech. Every MP and MLA, they have the freedom of speech. They can talk fearlessly, right? The MPs have every freedom. The MPs have every freedom to talk fearlessly in the four walls of the parliament, right? They can talk about any issue, they can use their own language. మనం రోజు చూస్తూనే ఉంటాం, వాళ్ళు ఏ భాష అయినా వాడచ్చు, ఎలాగైనా మాట్లాడుకోవచ్చు. మనం we have seen in AP assembly, right, in what you call, right, how the opposition party members, right, the ruling party members, right, how they have talked. తెలంగాణ అసెంబ్లీలో చూడండి, మైకులు ఇసిరేసుకోవడము, కుర్చీలు ఇసిరేసుకోవడము. There were days where even chappals were thrown, right, papers were being teared, పేపర్లు చింపడము. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ దేర్ ఫ్రీడమ్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్. అది వాళ్ళ భాష. చెప్పులు, నవ్వడాలు, వెక్కిరించడాలు, సటైర్లు, ఇవన్నీ వాళ్ళు వాడుకునే భాష. సో వాళ్ళు ఆ నాలుగు గోడల మధ్యలో ఎలాగైనా మాట్లాడుకోవచ్చు, ఏ భాష అయినా వాడుకోవచ్చు. సో నా హూ హ్యాస్ ద రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ ఆఫ్ మెయింటైనింగ్ ఆర్డర్ ఇన్ ద హౌస్? Who has the responsibility of maintaining order in the house? Who has the responsibility of maintaining order in the house? Who has the order? Who has the power to maintain order? Ultimately it is the chair of the house. Right? Who has the responsibility of maintaining order in the house? It is the speaker. Shashdar, you have talked about article 20 class 3, right? Remember, right? So if you take this, article 23 talks about self-incriminating evidence, right? So here if you take this article 104 lies outside of proper spheres of part 3. The restrictions that are imposed in part 3 are not available. You cannot use them under article 104. Whether not only take freedom of speech, expression, we have article 19, article 21, article 20. So whatever the restrictions or limitations mentioned in part 3 of the constitution, whatever restrictions that are mentioned in part 3 of constitution, they are not applicable for 104, right? They are not applicable for 104, right? So remember this point. So within the four walls of the house, the members of parliament has every freedom of speech. They can speak, right? They can use their own language. The purpose of this freedom of speech is to ensure fearless functioning of members of parliament. So this is what about the three privileges. But in reality, we see a gross misuse against privileges. We see a gross misuse against privileges. Right? Take down a question on this point, and remember, do try to follow a website, that is PRS Legislative Research. You have a wonderful articles. You can use these articles to write very good answers in polity and governance, particularly in polity. So just whenever you want to have any additional information, go search this, take information from this site, PRS Legislative Research. You have a particular very good articles on what you call misuse of the privileges. Take down a question. What are the individual privileges given to members of parliament? What are the individual privileges given to members of parliament? Members of parliament. And what is the controversy surrounding around it? What is the controversy surrounding around these privileges? What is the controversy surrounding around these privileges? What is the controversy surrounding around these privileges? So, you can write a very good answer if you follow these articles in. Alright, you can refer Hindu paper. Even in Hindu paper, you have a very good articles. Right, in Indian Express, in Hindu paper, even in this site, you have a very good articles on this misuse of privileges. Not only privileges. So whatever be the issue, just search newspapers, go through newspapers, okay, read 2 or 3 articles, gather information, right, develop your own way of thinking. So you can develop your own way of thinking only when you read newspapers, only when you read different analytical articles. So read them, try to develop your own thought process and write the answers, okay. So when you have an individual thought process, when you have your own way of thinking, it will help you a lot. It will help you a lot in what you call answer writing. It will help you a lot in answer writing. Alright. So this is what for today's class, and I want to mention one thing. Today there is no public administration class. The next class of public administration will be on Monday. That too, it will be on app. Alright. It will be conducted on app. Alright. So mind this. So there is no public class today and there is no exam tomorrow for you. Alright. So because the reason for not conducting exam is, except one candidate, no one is writing the exam. So what I will do is, I will send the question paper only to that candidate. Right. Okay then, for now I will stop the class. We will meet in next class, that is at Monday. Alright. So please try to see the what you call information, because there can be a there can be a change of timings. There can be change of timings from Monday, because I want to increase the timings of public administration so that I can complete the syllabus within by August. So we have started first chapter, and from Monday onwards I am planning to increase the timings of PubAd for another more 1 hour so that I can complete the syllabus by August. Thank you.